you know the real money is not in that area. And if you really look at the strategy of GE Capital or General Electric, they have moved away from a lot of low-end electric items because they realize the technology is not very high, therefore many can come in and copy. You recently read, I think National moved out of some of the domestic things like rice cookers and things like that. Although the volumes are very big, the technology is very low, so many people can come. And the equation is changing with China coming and other countries coming. So GE moved into very high capital intensive things like MRI scans, aircraft engines and things like that. You can see, even if you want to be in the industrial mechanical things, the big bucks, so to say, are in the top end. But we are not there. And this is okay. So this is the context that we are talking. And when Sri Lanka had set up this Inventors Commission in 1979 by Act of Parliament by late Honorable Malitadla Kudale, Japan set up a similar organization in 1904. At this point, let me illustrate what is an invention and what an innovation. Invention is something that you find, you discover, you turn out for the first time. But an innovation is a modification of something that is already invented. Well, you know, Japan did not invent the motor car. But who made more money out of cars? Japan. By innovating the car. So they brought a lot of features which we never had before, isn't it? Like you get into one of these smaller Japanese cars, how many places you find to put the drinking water bottle? So many little things. So you still find the Japanese cars have far more fancy features that we tend to think of. Can you think of a car today without power shutters, power motors? Isn't it? But there was a time that you had to turn it around, isn't it? That's so far away. So that is innovation. So my guess is what Japan did was they studied patents. Right? When people register patents, they go and look at it. Now patent is it's like the deed of a land. Now in the land, if you want to build or if you want to sell, you need the deed. If you want to mortgage, you need the deed. That is your title. Now in the land title, the deed, you have the plan. In the plan, it gives the entire demarcation. You know, what are the boundaries to the north, east, west, and south. So patent is something like that. To get a patent, the inventor has to disclose all the technical details of this particular invention. And it's public information. For sharing this information publicly, the government gives you the permission to hold on to that intellectual property rights for you for a period. Now in the pharmaceuticals industry, you hear generic drugs and the branded drugs, the originals. You know? So that is until 15 years that company can hold it, and after that the formula is known anyway, so anybody can produce. So patents are like that. So what you can't do with the patent is copy it for commercial purposes. Simply because you know the title of my land, what is prevented is you coming and building something inside my land. But using that information, you can decide at what price you want to buy the next plot of land. So what Japan did was, and many countries what they do, is they take patents, look at it, and improve on it. So once you improve, it's not the original. Let me give an illustration. There's a case in Canada, there was a paper company, and they invented a process to make paper. So the pulp goes through two cylinders, through two cylinders. Okay? And a second company invented a machine or innovated a machine with 3 cylinders. So the first company went to courts and said, look here, they have just added 1 more cylinder. In the courts it was held, well, if you knew 3 cylinders would do the job better, you would have done it in the first place. That's what happens. Now, we are not doing that. From what I have discussed and what I have discovered with Sri Lankan inventors, they are very fond of inventing the wheel. And they want to do the most original one. I think we should be good in copying and improve. Copying and improve. That's how it happens. And if we start copying things, then more and more people will register their patents in Sri Lanka. Because this place is dangerous. Right? You copy. These people copy. Then what happens? You get that IP knowledge into our country. Because they have a patent logic there. And you pay to the IP office, you can get that. And you can improve on it. Now see, this is what Japan is. Now, that's a big picture. But let's look at something very interesting. What do inventors do? Now this is not theory, this is what I discovered since I got involved in this place after I left Aviva. I got landed here, but I enjoy, I go there once a week. Do you see a problem here? Do you see a problem here with regard to these people? What is their problem? What do you think? Very good. He says carrying is a problem. Any other problems?
Lack of direction.
Oh, well, don't get into that detail. Just say what is the problem they have.
The dress will be the dress.
No. What are they doing?
The weight. Taking the water.
Yeah, so right, they don't have access to water. Now you can define a problem in many ways. And the definition of the problem is the critical thing. Whether it is in life, whether it is in business, whether it is in technology, how you define the problem. Now let's explore this. If you define this as access to water, then your solution is a water project, community water project perhaps. But as you very rightly identified in the first instance, if you say, no, that's not the problem. Weight. Carrying is the problem. Weight is the problem if you have to carry. If you don't have to carry, weight is not a problem. Right? Sometimes you need weights. That's why you call it paperweight. Now we don't need paperweight. So we thought after computers, the offices will be paperless. But we have more paper after that. So see, somebody defined this problem as carrying is the problem. The moment you think carrying is the problem, what are the alternative ways of taking it? Pulling is the easier way. So this was discovered, invented in Africa. And the two things, the cue drum, the other one is called hippo or something, where like the wheelbarrow to pull it. Now, when I saw this first time on the National Geographic, I was wondering why didn't we think of it? Because for one reason, we are not observing like the inventors. Inventors are people who have an observing mind, just like artists. They observe things differently, which we don't notice. Now, for example, how many of you have taken pictures or have seen pictures of tea pluckers? You have seen that. Define travel and tourism, you put that. Have you ever thought what a tedious job that woman has to do? Carrying a weight on your head and keep doing this. How many times? I don't know. Let's do it 100 times and see how we feel. We are not sensitive to that. But inventors are sensitive. Now, I have met a guy, he's improving his invention to make automated tea plucking. And these guys are just like artists. Artists give their life to their project, isn't it? Vasan must have met many, who have come to your office. I have written this, book I want to publish, and they keep on improving. These inventors are just like them. They can't sleep because this idea keeps bothering them. They always want to have things. They always ask the question, why can't this be done simpler, faster, better, cheaper, easier? We don't ask that. We take things for granted. Now, only those people do that. So the first thing is, they observe the environment and they define it in a problem statement. In that definition is the germ of the solution. Then they bring some technology that they know. Depending on the technology that you know is the solution. Let me illustrate that. Now, in Sri Lanka, if one person is trying to distribute things to many, it's chaos. That's normal. But you saw in Japan, even after tsunami, how they stayed in line to get their things. In Sri Lanka, it's different. Even on the poor day, you try to distribute things, they behave differently. Now, if you define that problem as a discipline problem, because we have seen in Japan people go in queue, here we don't, we think it's a discipline problem. Then what are the technologies we know? One technology is the police technology. You give a baton and say, come in a line. Or you put a rope, or you put some bamboos. Right? You make. So that's one technology you have. Right? So it's a kind of a technology solution. You put that. Now you remember, if you go to some of these cinema and those days, the gallery queue and the second class queue, the final stage is barbed wire. So to make sure that one person. I think even there they knew the problem is not about discipline. If you can have one-to-one, there's no problem. One-to-many is the problem. So how can you bring one-to-one? Now this is, if you go to some of these places where there are counters to take up, now there you need electric technology or color technology at the airport. Wait here till your chance comes. Now, ICT, if you book your doctor on e-channel, what are you doing? You don't have to be in the queue, theoretically. Doctors give an appointment, you go on time. But doctors don't come, it's a different issue. But your e-channel ticket says you are number 2 and 6:27 is your appointment time. You see? So, depending on the technology that you know, the solution. 20 years ago, we would never have thought it is possible to book a doctor like that, isn't it? We thought you have to come at 4 o'clock in the morning and do it, isn't it? 20 years ago, some of you who were working, you sent somebody to get an appointment from now. Today you don't do that, you dial from your phone, because technology fits. This is why I say, if more people in the science field, not like us, those who are scientists or engineers, are in higher levels of knowledge, they will bring better solutions. There was an article in the papers, somebody was writing, that we are importing so many mobile phones to Sri Lanka and we are sending so much of foreign exchange. True, I will show you a slide. How much Apple is making. So if we make the Apple here, then we would be exporting the mobile phone. Isn't it? So this is the challenge. So this is what I said so far. What they do is they observe and they define it into a problem and they bring technology. Then after that, promotion. It means they will either patent it or go to somebody. And normally they have 3 problems. 1, capital problem. They want money to improve. 2, technology. Once you start doing it, they come across various problems. So they need advanced knowledge to do that. Third is market access. So these are the 3 things that inventors want.